Hello there and welcome back. This is Russell Emery, aka EM Fresh, for Fresh to the Extreme. And this is the third and last video for the Dupont Forest Road Trip. And we are riding to actually called the top of Big Rock, but we're going to take the Cedar Rock Trail. And then in the screen here, we met another friend here, another that we can call friend, actually. His name is Nick. In front, you see Larry Fresh, and then in front of him is Nick Fresh. Okay. You'll see I parked right beside him, and we have the exact same transit van, so it's pretty cool.
Oh, Angie.
You see Angie Loam there, YouTube star. Looks like he's doing some training some mountain bikers.
YouTuber.
So right now we're headed up Corn Mill Shoals Trail, and I am very, very tired. As a matter of fact, we had just rode the Dupont Forest, the ridgeline, the waterfall. Just take a look at the past videos, okay? And we decided to do this one on a whim. I don't think Larry's tired at all, actually. Because as I said before, he is a XC racer, okay, and he can go 100, or not XC, gravel racer, and he can ride like 150 miles at a time, like without stopping, basically. But anyway, it starts off with a flow trail here, and remember this trail here because you're going down. So after you do these two loops, all right, we have to come back, and so it was really, really hard for me. Actually,
that was fun.
I think Larry noticed while I was trying to talk to him, that my voice was very shaky. The same thing that happened to Cape on. He knew that I was about to probably go into sugar. I forget what they call that when you're low blood sugar. Anyway, headed down Corn Mill Shoals. We're going to do Burnt Mountain Black Diamond Trail. Okay. And gotta get my... Okay, and then the Cedar Rock Trail. Okay, and that's to the overlook at the top.
Yeah, he's coming.
And as I said before, you can actually take the Big Rock Trail, which is the second trail after the gate to the left. So it's not, you don't have to go all the way deep into here and do that if you're wanting to get some exercise. Okay, and so this main trail that connects everything that we're on is again called Little River Trail. Okay. Actually, I'm sorry, I misspoke. Now we're on Little River Trail. Okay. Resuming. So this begins our climb up to the top. I think this total climb was, it says 1,100 or 1,200 feet thereabouts.
Make sure to keep on riding.
As you can see, there's flow right now, but shortly you'll see me panting in pain and suffering. And the guy in front of Nick, he's riding a hardtail. And it looks like he does this a lot. He was telling us he goes out on the weekends.
Feels nice.
Goes wherever his van will take him, and then comes home. It's pretty cool. Cool to see. And then he has a malfunction on his. Same thing happened to me actually on my Slash when I was talking about. If you follow my past videos, before I come, I was supposed to be riding my Trek Slash, which is more suited to this, especially the technical downhill. And I had to take all the parts from that bike, from the Trek Slash, my new Trek Slash, and put it onto the bike I'm riding now, which is the Santa Cruz High Tower, my 2020 Santa Cruz High Tower. And so I had to put the stock fork back. I'm really nervous about this because I haven't even serviced the fork or anything. It's like, felt really stiff at first, but looks like it's coming alive over these past few days. And it's actually turned out to be a very capable fork. Even the shock, the real shock too, the Super Deluxe Plus, it's kind of poppy, you know, especially when I'm going downhill, because really, like, my bike,
There's some water
and for
down
all
there.
mountain bike, is pretty light. It has the carbon frame that Santa Cruz makes, the Carbon C. And so I've got my weight, along with my wheels and everything, down to 24 pounds. So it's really, really light. All right. And I think we're trying to decide, make sure we're going the right way. But all in all, this starts all pretty nice, but then these climbs really, really, really get you. Really take it. Roger's behind us. Conserves energy, and I'm going to call it what it is at the end here. I think there's a little competition going on, because I noticed the same pattern at the end of the trails. When we get done with the trail, we all know Roger conserves his energy, but it's weird that Larry, he just takes off. You can't catch him at the end. I don't think he wants Roger to catch him and beat him at the end. Anyway, I'm going to call that. I'm not trying to create animosity or anything, but I noticed that because Roger comes hard at the end. I'm like, wow, like he's coming for, coming for a highs. Like you can hear him and he'll just pass you up by saving his energy. But anyway, here's a little fun section. I think we're going to a little fast downhill section now. And one thing I'm leery about with these downhill sections, I know if we start going down, I know we have to go back up again. And so, believe it or not, my legs are actually being trained, are getting acclimated to this. I'm noticing I'm riding harder gears based on the advice of Larry there. I think that's the only way I am able to make this. I usually spin, on the lowest gear, those highest cogs, and then my heart rate is really, really high, like 170, 180 the whole way. I'm about to pass out. But what I'm noticing for myself is if I try to go the hardest gear I can pedal without stalling, basically. Kind of like you're walking, so I want to feel like I'm walking, but on wheels. So I don't want to spin at all. I want to imagine I'm hiking through the woods on wheels. Okay. And so there's sometimes we do spin, as you'll see when we get to the Cedar Rock. I think we do it backwards, do it the opposite direction. There's really no wrong direction. You can do it any way you want, but it gets really vertical, and so I start spinning, and then I can't keep going. I have to walk the bike. And you'll see there when we get to that point. All right, here's a little climb here. Anyways, you've been following this tour, little documentary tour here. You'll know that on Friday we left Morgantown, West Virginia, and we stopped at Wolf Creek Trails in Fayetteville, West Virginia. That was pretty fun. We rode those trails and then drove another 3 hours after that, and then stopped in Johnson City, Tennessee, and rode Tannery Knobs. I think it's the city bike park. Really, very nice. You get some, got some good flow, got some adrenaline, got some elevation too. After that, we stopped in Johnson, Tennessee, and then stopped at a place called Southern. I think it was Southern Barbecue. It's pretty good, actually. Very good. Good beer, good times. And then I had to drive another hour and a half or 2 hours to Brevard to our hotel. And then went right to sleep. And then in the morning, woke up, had some breakfast, went to 2 bike shops. I think one's called Sasquatch. I'm wearing the shirt right now, matter of fact. And then started to ride the trails that we're riding here today. And that first trail was called, we rode yesterday, did Ridgeline, and then the Cedar Mountain Loop, then some other trails in between, like Locust Trail. Just a little exploring. and that was really, really fun. Pushed the limits of my capability, and as you know, I bring my e-bike with me, but that's works Tober Lebo, and I didn't think I'd be able to ride these trails like this for this long, and I was wrong. Actually, I haven't pulled the e-bike out at all, and so I'm very, very gives me a lot more confidence in my abilities and knowing how far I can actually ride in a given day. Because I believe today we rode about 25 miles and about 3,500 feet of elevation, 3,500 feet of elevation, which I never thought I could do. Just never thought I could do. Okay. And so, again, tomorrow, and there's Nick there, but don't, don't look down. This is steep. This is vertical climbing. He did a good job. I'm about to stop too. And Larry said, "Come on, keep going." Like I was like, he does this all the time. My legs been burning, and my heart rate is up right there. Despite, because the longer you climb, you start getting more tired. Despite how fast you're spinning your cranks there. And so, this is no joke right here. The GoPro doesn't show the verticalness of this trip. Okay, we stop and have a rest. I could rest for 5 minutes right there because it was very hard to climb on this section here. All right.
How much further we have to go?
Nick says not very far, much further. So he's powering ahead. And this next little downhill section is going to be really, really fun to do.
At least they have flat parts where you can sort of.
I think
get your legs back.
You'll see up ahead that it gets really, really gnarly and really chunky. And the only reason why I can make it down and no one else really can is because of my travel. I have we all make it down, but I make it down more easily. I have 150 millimeter travel and 140. It's just the limit. I almost had a hard time myself because just the chunkiness of the Burnt Mountain Loop. It's a black diamond, so there's all sorts of chunk and gnarly coming down the other side. And so if you're on a hardtail or low travel, you got to have some skills or some strong arms and a strong spine to break that jarringness when you hit those rocks and drops in the roots. Of course, you can't really tell because the GoPro makes everything look flat for the most part. But you can tell when I'm riding, even on some of my other videos, you don't see the ground or the GoPro shaking or anything. But when I'm riding down this, what I'm about to do, you'll see just a rattling and shaking because that's how rocky it is. The GoPro has a very good stabilization, but it couldn't keep up with this gnarl that's about to come. And didn't want to get hurt, but I could tell, you can sort of feel the limits of your bike when you're pushing it. There's some things I know that I could seriously hurt myself on, especially going on steep chutes, and then with a steep, I call a punch climb, where you use the momentum of the chute to go up the other side. If it's too steep, because the high tower is pretty slack. It has the same downhill geometry as the Santa Cruz B10 downhill bike, but just shorter, shorter travel. And so, it's hard to climb. It's hard to climb steeps, basically. Or just shoot up steeps that are really high because you'll flip backwards. Now going downhill, however, it's the slacknesses of a downhill bike, basically. So it's very stable. And you're only limited by the travel and the drop. Okay, but you see here, see how it's shaking? There's really big drops here. I don't know how Nick is taking on that hardtail. He don't have any. I think he might have a front fork has a little suspension in it. But I think it's like 80 or something. And so, but he's taking it. He's this pro. I can tell he does it a lot. So I mean, if it's all you ever rode on, then you're probably used. I'm pretty sure he's used to it. But it'll get a bit much here. But this is really, really fun trail here. Gets a little tight. And that's when I think this is where Nick's height brakes go out and it gets tight here. Make sure he's okay. He's good. He's going to try to slowly use the back brake and slide down the hill. I think it actually is his back brake, actually.
Resuming.
The front is okay, but you don't need the front. You don't want, because you'll press the front brake too hard, you'll go over the handlebars. The back brake, you need, that's like the brake I use the most, like when I'm pressing, when I'm going downhill. And I lightly press the front brake. The tendency why people go over the handlebars most of the times because they press both brakes really hard, but I just use the left brake, the front brake, to just slow down ever so slightly. I barely use it, like I don't just clamp it down when I'm going down the hill. Unless it's really steep and I have to press the back brake or the right brake caliper. It's just the right pressure to match the front brake.
That's scary here
and
in
then you
Roger
can
behind
slide
me.
down the hill. Pretty controlled.
I can hear him coming, man.
Yeah. It just takes a little while to get. I think Windrock in Tennessee helped me learn that really quickly. So you pretty much take any I can take any hill, albeit very slow, but I can take it without getting hurt or dying. Okay. Anyway, it's gonna get really, really gnarly right here. I'm trying to go around stuff, but you just can't. There's no line. You just have to just go real.
It's nice save.
Yeah, good save for Larry right there. You almost ate it. When I'm watching him, I look, I'm using him as a guide where to go, like taking his line. So if I see him strike, I get really anxious, when I see him slide around and stuff in front of me. It's like, oh no, I have to go do the same thing.
God.
I think he bows out because you don't want to get hurt going down this stuff. We're a long way from civilization, or from the parking lot.
Is this the, we're not
So he's
we were
just
at the top
gonna
already?
Bow out here. It's really steep. It's really, really steep. I just got more travel than he does. That's the only reason why I can make it down this. And that's the limit. I'm actually bottoming out at some of these places here. I can hear it. I didn't put a volume spacer in here. I should have in the fork there. But the height tower can take. It's like I said, it's downhill bike geometry with a steep seat tube angle. And as long as you're under 220 pounds, the shock works very well to keep you upright. And so I take it pretty much with ease going down here. But you can't tell how from the GoPro see those little roots and stuff. Those things are humongous. All right, so wait for everybody to come. All right, take the lead. I do not want to be guiding everyone.
I thought we were over.
I thought it was over. A little ways to go, and then we'll begin the climb up to the Big Rock overlook via the Cedar
All right, here we
Trail. Okay, so we're down here at the end.
That was pretty cool. I like
And
that.
the entrance
Good job.
to Cedar Creek, if you look on Trail Forks, my ride is on there, and you will be able to see it. They're just, the entrances are right beside each other, so you don't have to go far to get there. Like Nick made it down safely. Okay,
Woo!
air there. These are some really fast sections. A welcome addition, these flow trails they put. Very well placed, because I mean, if it was just climbs the whole time, then I don't think I would like it very much. But it gives you a sense of accomplishment and gets your adrenaline and a little bit of your energy back for the next climb. Right, almost there. See the hikers out here. I've been told here, we were stopped and talked to a few people. Oh, here's the first pond crossing. It's really deep. I almost got hung up in there. My
Now my
shoes are
my sock is
really wet now. I didn't bring mine. I should have worn my Gore-Tex shoes. They were really hot though, because they're really meant for like a colder weather, like 35 degrees and wetness. So if you have to climb a little bit, I'm not going to show you the complete
Okay.
climb up the Cedar Rock because it's
Seems like going
absolutely
on the
punishing. I
highest-
think
or
it
the
took me a
highest
very
gear.
long time to get up. I had to push. We all had to push actually for a little bit,
That's
except for
why
Larry.
it just seemed like
You
it was
only
faster and
pushed a
faster.
little bit, only the parts where you couldn't really ride. You'll see these logs here in a second with X's on them. That means, okay, so I've already been climbing for a little bit there. And so I'm trying
that bottom bracket
to
shaking?
press through, my legs are burning really bad. This is like vertical, y'all. This is really vertical. And it got really vertical over here. So you can see like it's how I'm trying to push up. And this is about, I think, about a mile up, mile and a half up. And so from here, I had a hard time. My heart was too high. My legs just gave out. But Larry somehow was able to keep going. He just right up the vertical up the hill. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't do it. I try to keep up, but I think Larry's waiting for us at the top of the hill. 10 minutes later, we come up, and he's taking pictures for hikers and stuff. I'm like, I gave up. See those X's on the log there? That's steep. That's really steep. The GoPro's flattening it out. And so it'd be fun coming down though. See those X's? See how steep that is? Like, oh, I can barely lift my arms. But anyway, this is almost to the top, and this is vertical right here. And you can't even see Larry anymore. He's gone. He's at the top. He just rode up once he got past those X's, there's like 4 drops. Those are 4 drops. They're pretty steep. And I think they're trying to warn you. And so, but it's pretty smooth right here. I thought I was going to stop, but I just powered up once I got to a point where I didn't feel I was going to flip backwards. Okay, because the high tower is really slack. But there we go. We're at the top. There's Larry taking pictures. Relaxed. Okay, here's some pictures at the top. There's me about to die with the high tower. There's Larry. There's Roger. Sorry about the blurry pictures. And then there's all of us, Nick and Larry, Roger, and myself. Now time to head back down the fun part. I wanted Roger to go first. But for some reason, he doesn't want to go first today. Because he goes really fast. Like, super fast down hills. You haven't seen how fast you can go down the hills. The other day, we were riding in our local trail, like White Park. It's just absolutely amazing how fast he can go. He's holding back today. He always holds back when I'm recording. I think I gotta pay him to get him back on camera again. Okay. It's a little drops here and there. And it's gonna get pretty gnarly here. But the rocks are, to me, I'm like, have a lot of anxiety coming down this stuff. I'm just trying to follow Larry's lines. And,
Looks like there's a
you
bypass right there.
If I see him, you
Got a
know,
bypass?
struggling a little bit, I'm like, oh no. Am I gonna make it? Am I gonna live? But he goes. I'm trying to keep up, but he just takes off like down this hill. We should give him a downhill bike because he can go no fear. Him and Roger too. I think Roger's trying not to get hurt because we still got some riding to do tomorrow. And he doesn't have his Ritmo. That's what he really can ride on. He has all the travel on it. And so he has the Ripley, the lighter bike, I think it's the XC bike, or the all mountain bike. Yeah, there's some little drops here.
It's a little lizard
How about a foot or two?
on the rock.
And there's
Little
some
baby
hills,
snake.
roots and stuff. So the lyric fork on here, the RockShox lyric fork, is okay for like 2 or 3 or 4 consecutive hips, and then it packs up, and then it starts hurting your hands. You feel the vibrations and stuff, or your shoulders actually. Of course, they fixed that with the buttercups on my Zeb Ultimate Charger 3 2023 fork, which I wish I had right now because there's a lot of chatter here. I love the 180 millimeters of travel on the front. It just soaks up everything. Anyway, we're going down here pretty quickly. It just looks like Larry's going in slow motion, but you can see we're going, some parts we're hitting 40, 50 miles an hour. Some of these sections. If you look at the Strava or Trail Forks, we're hitting 50 miles per hour. I think it's just perspective. Him in front of me, it looks like we're going slow, but we're not. And this is almost vertical too. I'm trying to stay up to the top of this. I just feel like I'm going to slide off the side of the rock there. Make sure my camera is recording. I'm going to miss this. I have to ride it again. You have to say that for next year, but I'm trying to stay high. I'm scared. All right, there you go. I think we're halfway down. I'm getting hungry. Getting very, very hungry. I think everyone's getting hangry now. I think at the bottom. I cut some stuff out because we're starting to get hangry. Starting to get short with one another. Okay, now right here when you see this this little power line here and this little fire break here.
I can smell
That
somebody
means
cooking
you're back
something.
onto Little River Trail.
I smell someone cooking some barbecue or something. I'm gonna wait for him.
I thought we were done, but we still have a little ways to
make
go.
sure he sees
Wait
us.
for everyone to come, make sure everyone's okay.
I see
Didn't fall
Roger.
or nothing. And they are. Roger's behind me, and then Nick is behind us too. It surprised me with that coming down on that rock that quick with no back brake. He doesn't have any hydraulic fluid in his brake either, so it doesn't work at all. Little drop there. He's taking the drops too. He loves that. He's taking them, man. I can't even keep up. Look. Seems like he just rolls faster. Like if you watch him, I'm pedaling, but he's just rolling. He's getting faster and faster. And you ask him what kind of hubs he has, because he just goes really fast without pedaling. Like pedaling with all my might to keep up. Maybe it's just the travel, or I don't know. He's up there. I'm not pedaling. I have to pedal. Maybe it's my hubs or the Chris King hub, but you hear that little ratcheting sound. That creates friction, but I need that so the pawls don't break because I have a hard, powerful leg, I guess, and so I snap pawls. But there's no pawls in Chris King, so it's just a weird. They have a proprietary mechanism there. But anyway, we're back. Now this is the bottom. We got the complete bottom.
He's
now
taking
we're
drops
back.
and everything.
Headed back to the parking lot. I'm not going to show the whole thing, but I'm trying to talk to Larry, but my words breaking up and my mumbling. You can tell that I have no energy, no sugar, and my arms are shaking. So he's going to stop and give me a hammer gel so I don't go into sugar shock, diabetic shock. I'm not a diabetic, but that's what you can go into it. You don't want to pass out, from not enough sugar. Because this is out of my element, so I never went this hard before.
It's like instantaneous.
Totally out of my element. And tomorrow even more. These guys are monsters on the bikes. It's funny too, because sometimes we ride with people that are pro, and then they think that they're going to leave us behind. They don't do it. We pedal pretty hard where we live at. We have some gnar, and like not only climbing, it's you're climbing it's just rocks and just technical, extremely technical, and you're climbing this stuff, half mile straight up, and then so I think that helps us out when we're riding. Helps me out anyway. Yeah, so. Larry ends up leading the group of pro riders when we are out. It's kind of funny. That just shows, I'm really lucky to have this guy and Roger to ride with, to get up to speed. But you guys know I'm in pain, man, when I ride these guys. They think I'm like, joking around. No, I'm in pain. I can take a lot of pain, just the nature. But I know it's not healthy. But because I haven't, I'm not, because I'm going my year. This is a year almost, a full year of riding mountain bike like this. Not just 3 miles or something. At Cooper's Rock,
There's a little hole right
doing
there.
this stuff. So they think I'm, I'm okay, but I'm not. But I think Larry realizes it. And I can.
Yeah, he's probably going a little slower.
You can
Because
tell by my voice.
The brake is.
So here come Roger, fresh legs, fresh arms, ready to power pass everybody. And then I don't think Larry wants him to beat him at the end. So he just take off. Larry takes off. Roger's trying to take off, and I think we just can't catch him. We can't catch Larry. Just can't do it. He's on his highest gear, that smallest cog, and I don't know how, where, and gets that energy. And sometimes we can't even see him up ahead. He slows down. And like I said, there's a climb out of this, so you have like 2 miles to get, or a mile or and a half or 2 miles to get back to the parking lot, and you're climbing uphill to get out. There's some downhills, but this almost got me. I almost stopped. Because my legs are so tired, and actually they were cramping up. My calves were cramping. But just when I was about to seize up and give up, the gate is up ahead, and I made it. But anyway, this marks the end of this video. If I haven't before, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And subscribe to the channel, and tomorrow you'll be able to see the Tannery Knobs and then the New River Gorge trail at Arrowhead in West Virginia, and the not Tannery Knobs, I'm sorry, Pinnacle Mountain. We'll ride Pinnacle Mountain, Tennessee, in Irwin, Tennessee, the Fire Tower Trail, which is very nice, very nice. So you can see we're back at the beginning. With that gate, I'm happy to see it. I was about to stop. Cross over the road, and Roger had a beer, these gigantic beers he got last night, and we drank them. They were very refreshing. And Roger there. Looks like he couldn't charge past. Larry didn't allow him to charge past him. It's funny, but it's cool though. All right, there we go. Back at the beginning.
Ooh man, I think I just burnt that goo up.